So I am a very, very big proponent in the idea that the interview process is going to be a direct reflection of the employment relationship. So if your interview process is not positive, the employment relationship probably isn't going to be a good one either, right? If you feel like they're lowballing you during the interview process, if they're constantly rescheduling on you, if you're not being treated with respect, whatever the issue is during the interview process, that is not going to make the employment process or the employment relationship any better. As a matter of fact, it's probably only going to get worse once you are an employee. It's the same thing with romantic relationships, right? If y'all are bickering and fighting the entire time y'all are dating, that does not mean run to the altar and get married, because it isn't going to get any better, y'all. So with that being said, if an employer lowballed me during the negotiation process, I would not want to be a part of that company. Now, I might take the job if I need the job, right? We got to do what we got to do. I might take the job if I've already given notice, but I would keep looking. I would keep my resume out there, and I would keep looking for new jobs. Because if they're lowballing you during the onboarding process, you are going to probably most likely have to fight tooth and nail with that company to ever get a raise, to ever get time off, to ever get anything that you want or need at that company. So I would not go back and renegotiate. I would just keep looking for a new job. Now, if you're saying that they were not honest with you about the budget for the role, especially, I would go look for a new job. Now, if you're saying here that you were not informed of the industry standard, I want to encourage all of us to go and do research when we get into negotiations, especially women of color. This is why we are paid less, because we lowball ourselves when we are asking for what we need. Now, I'm a really good recruiter. So if I'm interviewing someone and they tell me less than what my budget is for the role, I will volunteer, hey, here's my budget for the role. Is that really what you're looking for? But that's not all recruiters. Most recruiters probably aren't going to do that. So as women of color, particularly where we are paid something like 40 cents on the dollar to men, we've got to go into our salary negotiations more informed. It is not the recruiter's job. It's not the HR manager's job. It is not the company you're interviewing's job to tell you what the industry standard is. Now, in California, we have some pay transparency laws. I'm required to tell you what my budget is for the role, but that's only if you ask. But that isn't the case across the board, right? So, and then my budget may not be the industry standard. My budget could be above industry standard or below industry standard. And there are some resources out there, because I know that it is a little bit challenging with pay transparency and people not wanting to share their pay. So I can do some videos where I talk about some ways that you can kind of figure out what you should be asking for. But it is really our responsibility to go into salary negotiations aware of what the industry standard is for your area, for your years of experience, so that you can negotiate properly.